Is probably a deceptively simple question. Why come to terms with the past at all? Why remember? Why try to deal with the legacy of a difficult past? Why think and talk about the Stasi or the Berlin Wall, or for that matter, the Holocaust? Well, there's an obvious reason. It's the morally right thing to do. There's another reason as well, the idea that learning the lessons of the past somehow ensures that those kinds of terrible things will never happen again. Well, I'm not so sure that that's true. Some countries haven't done a particularly good job of coming to terms with their past. I'm thinking of places like Japan or Italy. I'll get to the United States in a second. But there's been no repetition there of earlier crimes. And even in a place like Germany that has done an admirable job, still suffers from things like racism, xenophobia, and scapegoating. I'm thinking in particular of recent reactions to the large numbers of refugees arriving from the Middle East and from Africa. There's an old saying, those who do not remember the past are doomed to repeat it. Well, I would argue recent history shows us that sometimes even those who are familiar with the past are not necessarily immune from repeating it, or at least some version of it. So with that caveat in mind, can Germany offer the United States any lessons about how to deal with its own past? For a long time, the United States ignored or skimmed over the less savory aspects of its history. The focus instead was on how America was supposedly exceptional, a shining city on a hill. My own AP American history teacher skipped right over the chapter on the treatment of Native Americans. Now, I'm not saying that the darker aspects of America's past are ignored nowadays, but I can only imagine that if schools and the media had done a better job decades ago of exploring those aspects, slavery, US imperialism in Mexico and Latin America, we might not have the kind of racial tensions and scapegoating and continuing discrimination we have today. A final point, yes, Germany has done a much better job of facing up to its past than the United States has, and it's done so through ubiquitous memorials, public debates, ceremonies, the creation of special organizations dedicated to exploring the past history of East Germany and the Third Reich. With respect to East Germany, the opening up of the Stasi archives, for example, allowed people to see the measures taken against them, to see which friends and members of their family had betrayed them. That is a healthy process. But let me add this. Americans would do well to avoid one major shortcoming of what the Germans call Vergangenheitsbewältigung, dealing with the past. And that's a tendency to talk about it in an overly moralistic and politicized way. In other words, the goal should be to make people more sensitive, not oversensitive. And making people oversensitive has often been the effect, alas, of moralistic finger pointing.